She left a six-figure corporate job at 52 years old. Single mum, in debt, no savings, moved back in with her ex so she could build her business. And everyone thought that she had lost her mind. Because here's the thing that nobody talks about when someone makes a leap like that. It's not the business that's hard. It's the story that you've been carrying your whole life and suddenly has nowhere to hide. So let me tell you about my client. So she's a coach and she spent the last 3 years building her business. Incredibly gifted, and she's the kind of person who walks into a room and immediately just lifts the energy. Kids at her gym literally run up to her. People tell her that she's a nurturer, she's a champion, love, and full of light. Before this, she had a six-figure salary. The trajectory, then a divorce, a decision to leave the corporate job, because honestly, it was destroying her physically and mentally. She gained 60 pounds, she had a leaky gut, her body was literally shutting down from the stress, so she had to leave. And of course, everyone around her called it irresponsible. Her mum, her financial advisor, even the voice in her own head, screaming, it's irresponsible. And when she came to me, she was saying that she had a comparison problem. She couldn't stop measuring herself against other people in the industry, other people in her social groups, her social clubs, people at the gym, who was making more money, who had the bigger house, who's made the right choices in their lives. Sounds familiar, right? Because I see this exact same pattern play out constantly with people who make that bold leap, who decide to go out on their own, but then they get caught up in the very messy middle part. And my client had tried a whole bunch of different things before we had our conversation. You know, the usual gratitude practice, affirmations, telling herself she was on the right path, reading from books, repeating those money mantras. But of course, none of them stuck, because what she'd tell me is that when she read the mantras, she didn't actually believe them. And she knew that she didn't believe them. Deep down inside, she knew. So she'd just sit there, repeating the words over and over, staring into the void while nothing was changing. She'd also taken on a financial coach, joined a cohort. She'd started saying no to things that wasn't in her budget anymore, which was all good steps, like a CrossFit competition, a reunion with friends in Turkey, a family cruise, all that stuff. She started to say no to it. And on the surface, she was doing everything right. But then she would walk into her gym and immediately clock what everyone else had that she didn't. Who's paying for 5 family members to be at the gym where she can only afford herself? Who's eating out every week? Who's got 2 or 3 cars? And underneath all that comparison, she had this story. The story that she'd been carrying for about 50 years of her life. The story that she'd made all the wrong choices. That she was late. That at 52, she should already be somewhere else. And when I pointed that story out to her, she said something that almost stopped me. She said, I love that story. She knew it was holding her back, but she loved it anyway because it was hers, it was familiar, and it explained everything for her. But this is where the session really made a turn. I asked her, what are you too afraid to admit right now? Her first answer was, of course, the safe one. I'm not smart enough. I'm not capable enough. And then she stopped herself and immediately backtracked. But I don't believe that, she said. I don't even know why I'm saying it. So I pushed her, because those easy answers are usually the deflection. And that's when it came out, the real answer. She said, I'm afraid of being alone. She had no idea where that came from. It didn't even make any sense to her on the surface. But when we followed it, it led her straight back to when she was young. Parents divorced, her father died, her brother needed a lot more attention. She was left alone, physically, emotionally, all of it. And her mum, when her father died, told her, no one's going to protect you but you. She was 13. She'd been running that same belief for the past 39 years. And that's the connection that she hadn't made until that very moment. The comparison, the story about being late, the guilt of leaving the corporate job, the feeling that she'd made all the wrong choices. It had traced back to that one belief. If I'm not financially safe by my own hand, I'm going to end up alone. The surface problem was the comparison. The real problem was a 13-year-old survival decision that had never been updated. Towards the end of our session, I asked her what it would feel like for her to let go of these stories, and she said something that I've been thinking about ever since. Because she said, it's like walking through a forest. All these trees are around me. These are the stories. They're all very familiar. I know how to navigate them. Even when there are wolves, I know how to handle the wolves. But when you ask me what I would do without these stories, it's like I'm standing on the edge of a cliff and there's nothing. There's no bridge, there's no other side. It's all just open air. And I told her, you might just have to jump. And then she laughed because, of course, she already knew that. But this is what also became clear in this specific session. She's actually already been doing it. She asked her ex if she could move in while she's building her business, and he said yes. She's supported fully while she builds, and she's been asking for the help, and it came when she asked for it. She hired a financial coach who's really stepping up to help her with her finances. She has friends in Alaska and Turkey who've actually told her that they would never have the courage to do what she's doing. Clients are finding her, strangers are even sending her gifts. The woman who believed that no one would ever protect her except herself was already surrounded by people who were protecting her. She just couldn't see it through her own stories. Now, there's a couple of reasons why this story really stood out, and I wanted to share it with you specifically. This isn't a story about leaving a six-figure corporate job at 52 years. That's just the circumstances. This is a story about what happens when capable people carry an old belief into a new chapter of their life and then wonder why it doesn't fit. And this is a pattern that I see constantly, not just in people who have taken that leap and started their own business, but in executives who have made it by every external measure and still feel like they're behind in their role or what they're doing. In coaches who they know all the theory, but they can't apply it to themselves. Really good at helping others, but suck when it comes to helping themselves. In leaders who have everything set up, but still can't move forward. The external situation is never the real problem. The story that you're running internally is. And the question that's really worth asking yourself is not, how do I fix my current situation? It's, what decision did my younger version of me make that I'm still honoring today? If this video is landing with you, I want you to sit with a couple of questions this week. The first one is, what's the surface problem that I keep trying to solve? Really good for understanding the surface level stuff. Then to dig deeper, ask yourself, what's the story underneath it? And when did I decide that that story was true? Then lastly, probably the most powerful one, what would be different if this story was no longer running the show? If you're in the middle of that leap right now, career change, want to start a new business or have started a new business, but you're feeling stuck, a leadership transition, and the inside isn't keeping up with the outside, this is the work that I do. And if you would like to have a conversation, there is a link in the description of this video where we can have a brief conversation, no sales pitch, no pressure, just a genuine conversation about where you're at right now and what's preventing you once you're on the edge of the cliff. Thank you so much for watching the video. I really do appreciate it. If you like my videos and you want to support more of my work and you're like, you know what, this guy's all right, he's got a few things to say, I'd really appreciate it if you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and also hit the notification just so you're aware of when I release my next ones. Thank you again, and I will see you in the next one.